The American road has always symbolized freedom and new beginnings, but today, a new story is being written, one of danger, of a silent predator stalking highways and small towns alike. This predator comes in a pill, a powder, a whisper. The journey is no longer just about chasing dreams. For many, it's a desperate scramble for survival. The landscape is changing. Diners and motels now share space with scenes of profound struggle. The open road, once a promise, now hides deadly risks. A single bad decision can lead to a dead end. The crisis isn't just in big cities, it's in the heartland, in forgotten towns where hope is thin. The drug follows the paths of commerce and desperation, leaving broken lives behind. We're witnessing a hollowing out, not just of towns but of the human spirit. These aren't statistics, they're sons, daughters, neighbors. Now, many are adrift, caught in a current that threatens to pull them under. Their journey is a testament to a nation grappling with a pain that has found a name, fentanyl. And now, a new, even more terrifying companion has arrived. The American road is no longer just a symbol of freedom. It's a battleground. Fentanyl arrived quietly, a synthetic opioid, far more potent than heroin. Cheap, easy to transport, and deadly in tiny amounts, it offered a powerful escape for those chasing relief. But the line between a high and a fatal dose was razor thin. Dealers no longer needed fields of poppies, a hidden lab and online chemicals were enough. Fentanyl was pressed into counterfeit pills, mixed into other drugs, an invisible threat. People thought they were taking one thing, but fentanyl could stop their breathing in minutes. The whisper became a roar. Ambulance sirens, grieving families. For those living on the move, fentanyl became an ever-present ghost. A traveler might buy a pill at a truck stop, not knowing it could be their last. They're not seeking death, just escape from pain, loneliness, or harsh reality. But fentanyl is unforgiving. It offers no second chances. The transient, disconnected lives of many make them especially vulnerable. Overdose numbers skyrocketed from small counties to big cities. The drug became a great equalizer in the worst way, erasing identities and leaving only tragedy. The American landscape is now dotted with invisible graves, lives cut short by fentanyl's deadly efficiency. The crisis is everywhere, and no one is immune. Just as the crisis peaked, a new shadow appeared, xylazine. Originally a veterinary sedative, it began showing up in the illicit drug supply mixed with fentanyl. Called tranq, it made the high stronger and longer, but with horrific consequences. Xylazine doesn't respond to naloxone, so overdoses became even more deadly. First responders would revive breathing, but users remained in deep stupors, vulnerable and exposed. The drug turned people into statues, frozen between life and death. Even worse, xylazine restricts blood flow, causing deep necrotic skin ulcers far from injection sites. For those without homes or hygiene, these wounds quickly became catastrophic, infected, leading to sepsis or amputation. The drug was not just killing people, it was eating them alive. Scenes of public drug use became nightmarish. People slumped, bodies marked by gruesome sores. The media called it the zombie drug, a crude but accurate description. Communities felt a new level of fear and revulsion. For those trapped in its grip, it was a living nightmare. The arrival of xylazine marked a darker chapter in the addiction crisis. The shadow it cast was long and devastating. Meet Michael, once a carpenter with a family in Ohio. An injury led to painkillers, then addiction, then the loss of his job and home. Now he lives in a van, chasing the pills that keep withdrawal at bay. He doesn't know if they contain fentanyl, he just can't stop. Michael's story is echoed by thousands, modern nomads pushed onto the road by addiction. There's Sarah, a former nursing student traveling the I-5 corridor, sleeping in parking lots, running from shame and loss. Each town is a new chance to score, a new chance to forget. Life on the road amplifies danger. No stability, no support. Overdose can mean dying alone, unnoticed. A simple act of kindness can be a lifeline, but misplaced trust can be fatal. The constant stress of survival makes the promise of escape, however deadly, seem rational. These are the forgotten casualties of the opioid epidemic. They're a moving target, hidden in plain sight, sleeping in cars, huddled at rest stops. Their vehicles, once symbols of freedom, have become prisons, trapped between the life they lost and a future they can't imagine. Their stories are written in the dust on dashboards and the miles on odometers. The road is both their refuge and their trap. Their struggle is America's silent crisis. In the shadows of cities, tent encampments have become the last refuge for many. Here, the fentanyl and xylazine crisis is a daily, visible reality. The air is thick with despair, the ground littered with the debris of addiction. Life in a tent city is a constant battle. No privacy, no security, and the threat of violence always present. The greatest threat, though, comes from within. The drugs are everywhere. Dealers move through the tents, selling poison to people with nothing left to lose. The sense of community is fractured by paranoia and desperation. The physical toll of tranq dope is brutal. Wounds fester without hygiene, infections worsen, pain is immense. The sight of rotting sores is a constant reminder of what could come next. It's a slow-motion disaster, a public health emergency unfolding in plain sight. Yet, even here, flickers of humanity persist, sharing food, cleaning wounds, watching over friends. These small acts of compassion are a rebellion against the dehumanizing force of addiction. Even when home is just a thin wall of canvas, the people inside are still human beings. But these flickers are not enough to hold back the darkness. The crisis deepens, and hope grows thin. The crisis didn't stay in the cities. It swept into small towns, tearing at the fabric of close-knit communities. Suddenly, addiction wasn't a distant problem. It was the neighbor's son, the local cashier, the football star. The heartbreak was personal and public. There was nowhere to hide. Overdoses, arrests, and raids became daily news. Volunteer firefighters and police, unprepared for this scale, struggled to keep up. The sense of safety and predictability vanished. Businesses suffered, families drained savings, homes went into foreclosure, small hospitals were overwhelmed by the complex needs of tranq users, resources were stretched to the breaking point. The greatest loss was trust. Suspicion replaced neighborly kindness. People locked doors, wary of strangers, and the easy rhythm of town life was lost. The community became a collection of isolated individuals, each guarding their own. The heart of the town was broken, and no one knew how to mend it. The crisis stole not just lives, but a way of life. The ripple effect reached everyone. The wounds of this crisis are brutally physical, deep, festering sores from xylazine, eating away at flesh. These aren't simple infections, they're the result of blood vessels shutting down, turning skin into an enemy. The pain is relentless, driving people to use more of what's destroying them. This physical decay mirrors a spiritual one. Addiction hollows out the soul, erasing hope and self-worth. Shame and guilt become a heavy cloak, trapping people in cycles of despair. For those on the streets, the decay is accelerated by exposure, hunger, and stress. Their bodies become a roadmap of suffering. Gaunt faces, vacant eyes, shuffling walks. The wounds become a public spectacle, further isolating them from society. They are invisible and hyper-visible at the same time. Society often turns away, unable to face the reality. But these wounds are a cry for help, a physical sign of a national catastrophe. They represent a failure of our systems, our communities, and our compassion. To ignore these wounds is to ignore the people who bear them. We must see the humanity behind the decay. Only then can healing begin. Even in the darkest times, sparks of hope ignite. Outreach teams walk the streets, offering naloxone, wound care, food, and, most importantly, a message: you are not alone. Mobile medical vans bring doctors and nurses directly to those in need, treating wounds and offering pathways to recovery. These clinics on wheels save lives and restore dignity. Stories of resilience emerge, people finding their way back from the brink, one small step at a time. Recovery is possible, though the road is long and filled with setbacks. Each story of healing is a victory, a testament to the human spirit. This fight requires a coalition of compassion, law enforcement, librarians, church groups, and everyday citizens. Communities that choose empathy over fear begin to turn the tide. When people come together, the light of hope grows stronger. The helpers are fueled by every life saved, every person who finds their way back. The dawn is faint, but it is there. The promise of a new day remains. The battle is not over, but hope is alive. Together, we can make a difference. The road ahead is long, and there are no simple solutions. This crisis demands resources, policy changes, and a shift in how we view addiction. We must move beyond stigma and see addiction as a public health disaster. We cannot afford to look away. The cost is measured in human lives. Empathy is the bridge to action. It begins with seeing the person, not the addiction. Remember, the man on the corner, the woman in her car, the youth in a tent. They are all someone's child. Their stories are filled with love, loss, and hope. Empathy motivates us to act, educate ourselves, carry naloxone, support local organizations, demand more from leaders, funding for treatment, mental health, and housing. Create communities where people feel safe, asking for help. Every action, no matter how small, builds a culture of care. This is America's story now, a story of pain, but also of resilience and recovery. The choice is ours. Let the storm tear us apart, or come together to rebuild. Let us be a nation that cares, that fights for its most vulnerable, that believes in second chances. The road is long, but we must travel it together.